Well, good evening once again. Day 1210 of this Trump administration, 174 days to go until the presidential election. And as predicted on this very broadcast 2 whole nights ago, today the president criticized his government's chief infectious disease expert for his candid testimony during a Senate hearing, a hearing where he couldn't appear in person because he's been exposed to a case of coronavirus in the White House during a pandemic. But if you've read any journalism this evening expressing any hint of surprise that Trump criticized Fauci today, it means someone's not doing it right. This was as predictable as the sun coming up tomorrow morning, and it's because the advice that Fauci is duty-bound to give doesn't match the plot line of the president. Crisis largely over. Let's get back. It will disappear on its own without a vaccine. And for his trouble and for his service, Dr. Fauci is getting attacked on Fox News.
Fauci has been wrong quite a bit. Sometimes he's absurd. Now he's praising China for its transparency, and we have the tape of that. Now, we're not attacking him, okay? We're just, as citizens, asking questions. What the hell is going on?
At this point, we should probably pause to point out the U.S. death toll tonight stands at nearly 84,506. Trump's predictable break with the top pandemic expert came during a meeting with the governors of Colorado and North Dakota. It came when Trump was asked about reopening schools and about Dr. Fauci's warning yesterday about rushing to reopen our country during a pandemic.
I think they should open the schools, absolutely. I think they should, and it's had very little impact on young people. It's up to the governors. It's the governor's choice, but their state is not open if the schools aren't open. I was surprised by his answer, actually, because, it's just, to me, it's not an acceptable answer, especially when it comes to schools. This is a disease that attacks age, and it attacks health. And if you have a heart problem, if you have diabetes, if you're a certain age, it's certainly much more dangerous. But with the young children, and students, it's really, just take a look at the statistics. It's pretty amazing.
Here is what Dr. Fauci told senators yesterday about the risk to children specifically from the coronavirus.
We better be careful if we are not cavalier in thinking that children are completely immune to the deleterious effects. We just have to see on a step-by-step basis as we get into the period of time with the fall about reopening the schools, exactly where we will be in the dynamics of the outbreak.
What's concerning Fauci and others in public health is the rise of a rare and deadly inflammatory syndrome apparently related to this virus. Over 100 children in at least 17 states have developed it. CDC is now working on guidance for healthcare professionals so they can track incoming cases. At least 3 children have died. Meanwhile, Trump is making moves to tighten his control of the race to develop a vaccine. He's appointed a former drug company executive and a 4-star U.S. general to lead the project known as Operation Warp Speed. Tomorrow, the nation's former top official on vaccines, Dr. Rick Bright, will testify before a House subcommittee about why he believes he was removed last month and what he sees as failures in the White House response to this virus. In prepared testimony released today, Bright warns the virus, quote, has the potential to eclipse the devastation wrought by the 1918 influenza, which globally claimed over 50 million lives. We must act urgently to effectively combat this deadly disease. Our window of opportunity is closing. I fear the pandemic will get far worse. He goes on to add that without clear planning and action, 2020 will be the darkest winter in modern history. As that unfolds tomorrow, the president will be on the road visiting the battleground state of Pennsylvania, part of his push to reopen the economy. Trump's going to tour a medical equipment company in the Allentown area that has been sending PPE to hospitals across the country. He's been supportive of protests against the Pennsylvania governor, Tom Wolf, and his decision to only open certain parts of the state at a time. Governor threatened to withhold federal aid money from counties that defy his decision. Late today in Wisconsin, the state's Supreme Court struck down that governor's stay-at-home order. As he admitted tonight, the only thing that will keep people at home now is good sense. He called his own state the Wild Wild West. There's also new reporting on the CDC's attempt to provide guidance on reopening the nation. It would conceivably guide states and cities in their planning to slowly reopen. AP reporting the CDC plans that were shelved by the White House included advice on shutting down communities during flare-ups of COVID-19 that a former chemical industry executive nominated to be the nation's top consumer safety watchdog was involved in sidelining those guidelines. Today, a top official at the World Health Organization gave a sobering assessment about this virus, indicating that we may have to learn to live with it.
This virus may never go away. I don't think anyone can predict when or if this disease will disappear.
The words come amid reports of resurgence and return of the virus in parts of South Korea and China following the easing of restrictions there. The Chinese are going to test everyone in Wuhan province. There's also this warning about the economic impact of all of this. Goldman Sachs predicting we'll see 25% unemployment. Today, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said it's time for Congress to focus on another relief package.
Since the pandemic arrived in force just 2 months ago, more than 20 million people have lost their jobs. Almost 40% of those in households making less than $40,000 a year had lost a job in March. To date, Congress has provided roughly $2.9 trillion in support. Additional fiscal support could be costly, but worth it if it helps avoid long-term damage and leaves us with a stronger recovery.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.